Hey guys, it's me, Mrs. Steiner, and it's Thursday, so let's talk about books. I actually am going to talk to you today about an author that I love who has tons of books. And I couldn't just pick one book by this author, so I brought several, but I'm going to talk about others too. So the author I'm going to talk about today is Gordon Korman. Do you know Gordon Korman? I actually met Gordon Korman. He came to our school. It was a great day. He has great books, and he's a great guy too. So let's talk about the first book today. It is called Chasing the Falconers. Now, it's the On the Run series. See right here, it says book one. Now, this is a series, and it has quite a few books in it, and it's super exciting. Aiden and Meg Falconer are their parents' only hope. The Falconers are facing life in prison unless Aiden and Meg can follow a trail of clues to prove their innocence. The problem? They're trapped in a juvenile detention center until they escape one night and find themselves on the run. So, hence the title, On the Run. Okay, so their parents, we think, have been wrongly accused. They are in a juvenile detention center. That's like, not like jail, but just like somewhere kids would go if their parents were in jail. And so they're not very happy there. And so they break out. I'm not going to tell you how. It's exciting though. Okay, so this is book one. Then there's book two and book three. There's several books in this series, and they are so good. And I'm not going to tell you what happens. And it is like a roller coaster. Have you ever ridden a roller coaster and like you go on top of a big hill and then whoo, and it's so exciting? That's how this book is. And then you're like, okay. And you think you're going to calm down, but then you go down another big hill. That is this book. It is like a roller coaster. Every time you think it's going to calm down, it doesn't. It is so exciting. It is very, very adventurous, full of intrigue and mystery and action. Very good book, and you will love it. So that's the first Gordon Korman book that I want to talk about today, On the Run, a whole series. Now, when you finish the series, the next series is called Kidnapped, and you need to read that one too, because it's kind of a continuation series of a series. That's a good idea, isn't it? I'd never really seen that before until Gordon Korman did it. So this is a great one. Now, another Gordon Korman book that I really, really loved was this one. It is called The Hypnotist. Now, this one is totally different. Is it a gift or is it a curse? Jack's Opus can use his color-changing eyes to make people do things they don't want to do. Only his colorblind best friend, Tommy, seems immune. That immune means that he's not affected by the changing eyes. At first, Jax doesn't know what he's doing, temporarily hypnotizing friends, foes, and strangers. But then his power pushes things way too far, and his secret isn't a secret any longer. So soon a doctor finds him that's very interested in his ability. And so he wants to really meet with him. And then it turns out there may be some other kids that are like him. And then is he going to use his power for good or is he going to use his power for evil? And will the doctor try to convince him to do one or the other? It's so exciting. And let me tell you what, I read this book and I was on the edge of my seat. We did it with a book club and I was like, oh gosh, every day we would read and I was like, I can't wait. And then they would have to leave and go to a different class. So I'd have to wait till the next day. Finally, we got to the end and it didn't wrap up. This book has a sequel. So when you check out The Hypnotist, know that you're going to need to read another book after it in order to finish the story. But it is a great book. It's really different from a lot of other books that I've read because it just deals with different topics and the whole being hypnotized thing. It is really good. And it really makes you think, like, if I had that power to make people do things, it would be really nice maybe to do it to get your way, but it might not be the right thing to do. So he really has a struggle between using it for good and using it just for things that he wants. So I want you to think about that when you read this book. How would you use your power if you were the hypnotist? Okay, so that brings me to the next one. I only have three today. Normally I have two, but today I'm doing three quick ones. This one is called Restart. I read this book this summer. I love this book. Very unique book. Gordon Korman usually does the action books, the kind of intrigue and mystery like the two I just talked to you about. This one is totally different. This one, Chase doesn't remember falling off the roof. He doesn't remember hitting his head. He doesn't, in fact, remember anything. He wakes up in a hospital room and suddenly has to learn his whole life all over again, starting with his own name. He doesn't know who he is. He knows he's Chase, but who is Chase? When he gets back to school, he sees that different kids have different reactions to his return. Some kids treat him like a hero. Some kids are clearly afraid of him. One girl in particular is so angry with him that she pours her frozen yogurt on his head the first chance she gets. Pretty soon, it's not only a question of who Chase is, it's a question of who he was and who he's going to be. It's called restart. So in essence, his entire memory is gone, blank, but everybody remembers him. He doesn't remember who he was, but of course, everybody remembers if they liked him or didn't like him. And it turns out, he finds out that maybe he wasn't the best guy. Maybe he wants to restart. This book has one of the most hilarious scenes ever. It involves a boy, not the main character, a tricycle, and a car wash. And it's hilarious. I found myself laughing out loud when I read that part of the book. So this is a great book, and it might even make you think, if you lost your memory and then went back to school, what would people think of you? How have you treated people? Would they be glad you were back? Would they not? So it really makes you think about yourself too and how people think about you. So 3 great books today. The On the Run series, this is more than one book, so make sure you check them all out. This is an adventure of a lifetime right here. It's like riding a roller coaster. Hypnotist, don't be sad when it's over. It has a sequel. Whew, I had to wait for it, but you won't have to. And his newest one. Actually, I don't think it's his newest one anymore. Restart is one of his newer ones. Now, where can you find these books if you want to go find them in the library? Okay, you're going to go to the chapter books, fiction, K-O-R, author's last name, Korman. Okay, he also has the new Slacker series that also has another book, a sequel. He also has tons of other books. One of my favorite ones, Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire. That one's a hoot. Now, another thing you need to know about Gordon Korman is he has been an author since he was a teenager. Since he was 13 or 14 years old, he actually wrote his first book in high school for a class. And he sent it into Scholastic, and they published his book. And he's been writing ever since then. And he has so many good books. I tell my kids at school, I always say, I think that some authors get up every morning and they say, I think I'll write a book for Hackler Intermediate School today. And when I say Hackler Intermediate School, I mean pretty much any intermediate school in the entire world. These authors are writing books just for us guys in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade. These are great books that you need to check out. Now, before I leave, I want to give a shout out really quick to some of my friends. First, I want to say hi to Connor, and I want to say hello to Autumn, and especially I want to say a great big hello to my good friend Camille, who watches Mrs. Steiner Reads and who also watches Let's Talk About Books. And I really love that you love watching, Camille, and I really thank you all for being such good fans. And I wish you a great week, and keep reading and keep looking for chapter books. If you have a great one that you want me to do on Let's Talk About Books, or a great author that you want me to talk about, make sure you leave it in the comments under this. Make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel. And you can always follow me on Twitter at Mrs. Steiner Reads, or like me on Facebook at Mrs. Steiner Reads. Okay, I will talk to you guys next week. Have a great week. Bye.